Hi everyone, welcome to Must Read Monday. My name is Dabney. I'm the young adult librarian with the Twin Lakes Libraries and I use they, them pronouns. Today I'm going to be talking to you about the new books we got in. These are ones that were in our October book order, so they are now on the shelves and I'm very excited about them. This is the list I printed out. We also got some new books at the Hancock branch. So we've got most of them at the Mary Vincent and some over here. And we've got over here we have some new nonfiction books, which you can see those right here behind me. So we have Blackbirds in the Sky, the Black History book, that one hasn't come in yet. How Space Works, a quick and easy guide to sex and disability. And let's see. We Are Not Broken, and then our two fiction books that we got over here is Up All Night, which is a series of short stories about people who are up in the middle of the night, which I can't wait to read because that is my life. And then When the Night Breaks, and that's a sequel to Where Dreams Descend. So those two are over here at the Hancock branch. Alright, so, sorry, my computer keeps getting unplugged, and that is a problem, because the computer will shut down. Alright, so let's get into some of the ones that I've read. Again, there's so many good books on this list, and I feel like there's something for everyone, so definitely, check it out. I'm going to have the full list in the video notes, as well as a link to the Goodreads shelf for our new books, so you can look at them that way too. And this week we'll be open Monday through Wednesday, and then we'll be reopening the following week, so you can come get some books. Okay, so first off, I'm going to start with the new manga. As y'all know, I read pretty much all of the manga we get at this library, and I love it. So we have Adachi and Shimamura, Volume 2. This was cute. It's definitely a very slow burn so far. So yeah, I'm liking it. The girls are getting to know each other more, and we're getting to know more about them as well. Ancient Magus Bride, Volume 15. This is one of my very favorite series. And I recommend it if you like supernatural stories, if you like a setting, like an English setting, if you kind of like things that are borderline whimsical and scary. This series gets dark at times, but it's rated T for teen, and I just really enjoy it. It's one of those magical stories that fascinates me. Attack on Titan 34. This is the final volume, you guys. Whoa, can't believe it. This is one of the ones for older teens. It says on the back, ages 16 and up, and I definitely agree. This one was pretty brutal. And you know what? I was not gonna say anything about this ending, but it is the end, so if you've been holding off until the series is complete, now you can jump in. We have all the volumes in our collection, and you could just binge read all of this. Okay, Blue Exorcist, Volume 26. Again, this is another one of my favorite series, and I want to go back and reread it. Kind of with a lot of series, the longer they run, the more complex they get, and this one has gotten into the back stories of the characters, getting into their parents' history, and this one is very, very good. Lots of action, lots of drama, lots of siblings fighting, and I just continue to really love Yukio and Ren. It's really good. Oh, by the way, if I didn't say what this is about, our main character, Ren, his father is actually Satan, He doesn't find that out until, like, obviously volume 1, when things kick off, and so this is kind of his story of, like, wanting to go to this academy, learn to fight, you know, demons, and also deal with, like, his own demonic nature, I guess. But he's, like, the best. He's, like, such a great character. Not at all what you would think of somebody whose father was Satan. Okay, Bungo Stray Dogs, volume 20. Yes. I just don't even know. I feel like this is another one I need to reread and kind of, like, I feel like I'm on top of things now. I was lost for a little bit. Now I feel like I'm there. And it's just, like, one of those stories where it's, like, things go from, like, bad to worst. And that's where we're at right now. I feel like we're in the worst. And I just am like, oh, how are they going to get out of this, you know? Lots of action. So all the characters in this, they're called skill users. They have these special powers. They're also named after authors, like famous authors from Japan and around the world. And their powers kind of derive from something, you know, a work that the author's known for. So it's pretty cool, you know, if you like literature, you know, check it out. And then Seraph of the Inn, volume 22. This is kind of a post-apocalyptic. Vampires are trying to take over the world. The remaining humans are trying to fight them off. It's a lot, and our main character is Yu, and he's just having a really rough time. I kind of am like, this author, I'm like, would you give this boy a break, please? He needs a break. I need a break. I need an emotional break. But I really do enjoy this series so much. I love the art. I love all the characters, and it's one of those ones where I kind of feel like a lot of the side characters are, like, continually shifting sides, and I never know, like, who's a good person, who's a bad person, who's our enemy right now. I never know. So these are two of the vampires in it. But yeah, I like it a lot. And I will say, so for these manga, we do have the anime for Ancient Magus Bride, Attack on Titan, and Seraph of the Inn in our collection. So if you want to binge the manga, binge the anime, you can do that. Alright, enough manga. Is that ever really true? No. Okay, this is a new graphic novel we got. So I actually brought in my copy because I loved it so much I bought a copy. This is 80 Days. It is gorgeous. I like instantly fell in love with the cover. So when I read this, it was actually as an ebook, and I didn't realize, like, how big it was. I love it. The inside art is, like, black and white, and I think it's just gorgeous and a really good story. So let me read you the summary from the back. Jay wants nothing more than to fly, or so he thought, until the tricks and charms of a mysterious thief named Fix draw him into the struggle against the looming aviation guild to which all pilots owe their very being. Despite the warnings of his fellow aviator Sable, Jay becomes entangled in Fix's cause, irrevocably launching all three of them into a whirlwind of shifting allegiances, the fight for freedom, and the perils of love. So, you've got Fix, Jay, and Sable. So those are our three main characters. And, the story, it's just so good. It's so good. It's definitely, like, a great, like, resistance story. And I just, it feels very epic and beautiful and, like, heart-wrenching. And I highly recommend it. And it doesn't actually take very long to read because, you know, got pages like this where there's not, like, a lot of text. So, very good. Alright, books. And and I'm sorry if I've talked about these before in some of the previous videos. I think, I read books ahead of time as like advanced reader's copies, and then I want to talk about them instantly before we actually have them in the library. I can't remember if I've done that yet about these, but I'll still talk about them. These are some of my faves of the fall and some of the new ones we got in. Dark Rise, this one was actually in a previous book cart, but for whatever reason, we just got it now. So I'm going to talk about it like it is brand new. It is pretty new though, because it hasn't been out that long. I love this cover. I love this cover art. This is our main character, Will. So it says on the back, the dark will rise. Who will fall? Who will stand? Okay. The dark is coming. The ancient world of magic is no more. Its heroes are dead, its halls are in ruins, and its great battles between light and dark are forgotten. Only the stewards remember, and they keep their centuries-long vigil, sworn to protect humanity if the Dark King ever returns. 16-year-old dock boy Will is on the run, pursued by the men who killed his mother. When an old servant tells him of his destiny to fight beside the stewards, Will is ushered into a world of magic, where he must train to play a vital role in the oncoming war against the dark. As London is threatened by the Dark King's return, the reborn heroes and villains of a long-forgotten war begin to draw battle lines. But as the young descendants of light and dark step into their destined roles, old allegiances, old enmities, and old flames are awakened. Will Will stand with the last heroes of the light to prevent the dark fate that destroyed their world from returning? Oh, I was like, Will? Will must stand with the last heroes of the light to prevent the dark fate that destroyed their world from returning to destroy his own. This book, I really loved it. I loved the characters and the world building and all of the mythicness of it. Once they start getting into the deep lore of the light and the dark battling, way back, and I was like, this is, it's like feeding my kind of Lord of the Rings Tolkien feels, I suppose, and then getting to meet the characters and see how they handle this immense pressure of finding out you're a chosen one, you're here to save us, and that's a lot, and I think a lot of this book is about the characters wrestling with their identity, who they are, who they've been told to be, and what they want, and trying to figure out, you have this destiny, do you have to fulfill it? Can you go against it? And then at the end, kind of when everything gets turned on its head, and you're just yeah, the ending, this is one of those books that end in such a way that it was a lot, and I was just I need the sequel right now. So, if you're one of those people who just is going to be mad about being left on a cliffhanger, maybe wait, but I definitely recommend it. Okay, speaking of cliffhangers, but not really, we have Aristotle and Dante dive into the waters of the world. So back in, I don't know if it was 2012 or earlier, that's when the first book came out. Aristotle and Dante discover the secrets of the universe, and it's one of my all-time favorite books. Got me in my feels, and then, years ago, the author kind of was I'm going to write a sequel, and I was like, I can't wait. And then it was a long wait for this sequel, but here it is, and it's gorgeous. I love this cover. I love the cover for the original. And this story, so the setting, it's set in the 80s in, oh gosh, now I can't remember. I feel like it's New Mexico, the Southwest, my memory. And yeah, so that's kind of the setting. So some you might see the cover and think it's like a contemporary setting, but it is like kind of a historical one. But I think, that doesn't matter. Just enjoy it. So, it says, in Aristotle and Dante discover the secrets of the universe, two boys in a border town fell in love. Now they must discover what it means to stay in love and build a relationship in a world that seems to challenge their very existence. Ari has spent all of high school burying who he really is, staying silent and invisible. He expected his senior year to be the same, but something in him cracked open when he fell in love with Dante, and he can't go back. Suddenly, he finds himself reaching out to new friends, standing up to bullies of all kinds, and making his voice heard. And always there's Dante, dreamy, witty Dante, who can get on Ari's nerves and fill him with desire all at once. The boys are determined to forge a path for themselves in a world that doesn't understand them. But when Ari is faced with a shocking loss, he'll have to fight like never before to create a life that is truthfully, joyfully his own. The feels, y'all, they were like intense. What I really loved about this, I loved everything about this book, but I loved seeing Ari really just like learn to accept love and friendship from the people in his life. Like in the first book, he was very closed off and angry and like, I guess, hardened against the people around him. And he was like very solitary and didn't really, have any friends or anything. And so this book, he's learning, to embrace the people who have kind of always been there and always had his back, as well as like meet new people and kind of, embrace like more about himself and his identity and like kind of come to peace with that, because that's something he really struggles with in this book, is being gay, especially in like the 1980s, with the AIDS epidemic going on and just like a lot of bigotry and homophobia, and so he's like wrestling with all of this, but he's not doing it alone, and that's what I thought was really beautiful about this book, is all the characters, everyone is going through something. We're all going through something, and, learning to reach out and make connections and find allies and find support and find ways to support others as well, and I just thought that was beautiful. Really, this book made me cry. I feel like it made me cry, but it was worth it. So good. So yeah, very like a realistic book. So you got Dark Ride, just like fantasy, and also a historical book. And then you've got Ari and Dante. And then we have Vespertine by Margaret Rogerson. If you've not read her books, they're really good fantasy. And I think it's like this, let's see, Sorcery of Thorns and an Enchantment of Ravens. So Enchantment of Ravens is kind of like, human girl meets fae boy, and it's great. And then Sorcery of Thorns is like so good, but it's, of course it's like set in the main character's kind of like a librarian in training, so of course I was like, a librarian, but like books are evil. Or at least the books they work with, like grimoires and stuff, and there's demons and adventure, and it was great. So anyways, I really liked this author before I picked up this book, and I just love this cover so much. I've seen kind of people talking about it on Twitter and the author talking about it, and they're kind of like, this is like the movie Venom, that bond between Eddie and Venom, but, if, like, Eddie was a nun. And I was like, this is a brilliant idea, actually. I'm just, like, a big fan of Venom, so. Okay, let me read you the summary. The dead of Lorelei, sorry, I don't know, do not rest. Artemisia is training to be a Grey Sister, a nun who cleanses the bodies of the deceased so that their souls can pass on. Otherwise, they will rise as spirits with a ravenous hunger for the living. She would rather deal with the dead than the living, who trade whispers about her scarred hands and troubled past. When her convent is attacked by possessed soldiers, Artemisia defends it by awakening the ancient spirit bound to a saint's relic. It is a revenant, a malevolent being that threatens to possess her the moment she drops her guard. Wielding its extraordinary power almost consumes her, but death has come to Laurel, and only a Vespertine, a priestess trained to wield a high relic, has any chance of stopping it. With all knowledge of Vespertine's lost to time, Artemisia turns to the last remaining expert for help, the Revenant itself. As she unravels a sinister mystery of saints, secrets, and dark magic, her bond with the Revenant grows, and when a hidden evil begins to surface, she discovers that facing this enemy might require her to betray everything she's been taught to believe if the Revenant doesn't betray her first. Yay, it's so good. So, first of all, I really like Artemisia. She's been through a lot, and it's kind of like you find out gradually what all her backstory is, and she has like a lot of anxiety, especially dealing with other people, and so she'd just much rather keep to herself and like keep out of the way, but then, you know, she's kind of thrust into this path of basically saving her country and like becoming this like hero to the people, which of course is like making her super uncomfortable. And you know, I like that as the book goes on, she's also having to like make friends and make allies and like not just rely on herself, because she's the type who would just like run herself into the ground because she's like, I can do it. I don't want to get other people involved. And then the Revenant, like, can you really like an evil spirit? Yes, you can. Is it really evil? I don't know. I really like that, yes, there is a lot of Venom parallels, because they start out with this very antagonistic, I guess we'll just call it a relationship, where like neither one of them is like happy with the situation that they're in, but they do realize that the only way to get, you know, things resolved is going to involve working together, and that involves like trusting each other. And you know, it was a really, really cool story, and I just like their bickering, and yeah, it was just hilarious. Like, I can't even think of a quote right now, but it was fun. It was like a lot of fun, while still being, you know, it's like a fairly dark story. I feel like, you know, the dead are rising and taking out the living, so, but at the same time, I felt like the Revenant really provided kind of like some comedic moments, and, you know, kind of watching it go from like, oh, you stupid human, you're just useless, blah, 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 to like actually wanting Artemisia to succeed and take care of herself. It's kind of like that symbiotic relationship going on, which was cool. And I like all the other characters they introduce, and I also like that this is the start of a series. This is, I think, the author's first series, and I'm like, good, I want to know more about these characters. I want to see them do new things, so I've got more to look forward to. But I do feel like it ends in a way that, like, you want to know more, but you're not left, like, on a cliffhanger. Like, it has a good ending, but you can see that there's, like, more to come. So that's it for our books. Again, check out our list, and I'll also say, like, which one of these books are available online as well. And I think that's it. I hope you'll have a wonderful Thanksgiving week, and we'll be posting a craft video on Wednesday, so be sure to check that out as well. All right, I'll talk to you all next time. Bye.